Hello guys, this is Victor Lawson of Soft Techniques, a subsidiary of Arendas Integral Technologies Limited. Today we are discussing on the things that you need to look at before buying a computer system. You know, a computer is a machine that is used to perform specific tasks. As a result of that, they are in grades, in categories. All computers are not the same. You understand? Computer is made up of one, a processor. A processor is a built-in device in the computer that the computer uses to perform task. you know so how fast this task can be performed is depending on the capacity of the processor. So if you want to get a computer, one, you look at the processing speed. At least a good computer for now, processing speed should be within 3.0 and above. Is a computer that once you're using it, you see a kind of fastness in task performance. But some persons will look at a computer that, oh, this computer is fine, but has a very low processing speed. Because they are not aware, they will go and pay and bring it home. When they are using it to do certain things, you see it hanging, can't perform tasks. Certain application cannot run on it because of the processing speed. So you need to check the processing speed. I'm going to show us how to check all these things after my voicing. You good to understand how you can check all these things. Another one is RAM. You understand? So RAM, but one thing is that you can upgrade your RAM. You know, RAM is used to, if you are opening a particular program or document or file or whatever it is in your computer, you know the response that you get, how fast that response will come, is a function of the quality of RAM that your system is having. you know though you can buy a system with 4 gig RAM and decide to upgrade it to even 64 gig, is okay, it's fine. You understand? You can upgrade it because the higher your RAM, the faster your system could respond to issues. You know. Then another thing is, a computer is still like a house that has a place that it stores documents. In your house, in your parlor, you may be having your chair, your table, your electronics and some other things, maybe your standing AC and any other things that you want to use to make your living room look as fantastic as you may want it to look. You understand? But one thing is that if this living room is not as large as it should be, when these things are fixed in, you see it being packed up. There is no space. But if it is a spacious living room, when you put all these things, you still see that you have enough space in the house to do other things. So in that, computer has what is called a hard drive or a hard disk that it uses to store documents, files, and some other things that the computer is ready to accept. So these things are the things that you need to consider when buying a computer system. Check the volume of the hard disk, at least from 500 gig to 1 terabyte. But to an extent, this recent time, it shouldn't be an issue. The reason is because most people don't even store data on their system again. Their data is being stored remotely in a cloud, you understand? So even if your computer system has a storage capacity of, let's say, 300 gig, and it has a good RAM and a good processing speed, you can get it. You understand? Then your data should be in the cloud. You just store them in the cloud. I think that would be an issue of another day. I'll tell us how to send our data to cloud, how to do cloud computing is one of those things that I'm going to be teaching on this tutorial. Then apart from that, you know, there are generations of computers, so each of these generation comes with their own operating system. Computer has moved from then Windows Vista, you know, to Windows XP, you know, to Windows 7. Now we talk of Windows 8, Windows 10. You understand? So these windows, why it's necessary for you to consider window in buying computer is that the more the window gets outdated, the more difficult it becomes for that window to run certain applications. Because as the new generation of window comes out, the software developers, you know, will upgrade their software in such a way that it meets the standard of the new version of window. There are some softwares that you can no longer run on Windows 7 now. It will not be compatible. The reason is because the developers has upgraded to Windows 10, Windows 11 and Windows 12. So you need to consider the Windows system as well as you're buying your computer. So these are very very necessary. They are very necessary. You consider them while buying your computer. And again, and still in the processor, sorry, we have two kinds of processor. We have the AMD and the Intel processor. You know, so many people are ignorant of this. You know, though it's not bad because it may not be your line or you are new in the ICT world. So, but I want you to understand that AMD processor is not good for African environment. The reason is because AMD processor easily gets heat up, you know, and the system to chill it is not always available here in our this part of the world. Then it makes it easy for an AMD system to have power issue, you know. So if you buy a new brand system that has AMD processor, you find out that within 2 3 months you start seeing very hotness around your keyboard areas very close to the processor. And as this continue to be, you see that the system will automatically begin to shut itself down. You begin to notice a sudden shutdown while you are working, which will begin to interrupt your tasks, your works. Is not good. So if you want to get a system, make sure that the processor is an Intel. You know, of course, Intel has also upgraded. No, in the days past, we were having the Pentiums. From Pentium, we have dual core. Now we are in core. We have core i3, core i5, core i7, core i9 now. All these upgrades are what will accumulate the value of your computer. You know, a computer with a processor of core i3 can never be the same price with a computer with a processor of core i7. If you are seeing a computer with a processor of core i7, Windows 10, and a processing speed of 3.0, you know, it can never be the same price with a system with core i3, processing speed of 3.0, and Windows 8. You know, the one with Windows 8 processing speed of 3.0 and core i3 will be lower than the other one. So these are what will determine the prices of the computer system. You understand? So if you're a graphic designer, you don't just go into buying system. You just need to know if the system is okay for me to do graphics. If you are into motion graphics like I'm into motion graphics. I'm a web developer, I'm a programmer, you understand. I do motion graphics, I do cartoon animation, I'm also a computer engineer, you know. So all these things are things that I've learned and experienced over 15 years of being in ICT. So if you consider these things that I'm telling you now based on what you're using your computer for, then making choice of the kind of computer to buy wouldn't be an issue. So let's go into practical and see how we can check these things. Now you can open your computer through any folder like this one that I've just kicked now. you know Now this system I'm using for this tutorial is not that strong anyway, but at least for this sake of this tutorial, I'm using it. I have other systems that I'm using for my graphics and video editing, you understand. So now when you open a particular folder, this is a folder containing files and other folder in this folder that contains other documents. So if I want to check the quality of this computer, I'll come to this place. As I've opened to this, I look at this Bestman computer. Ordinarily I name it Bestman computer. You're supposed to see your PC or user here. Your own can be anything, but this is your computer. Double click on it, it opens, you understand. Then here, this thing you're seeing here is the hard drive. Of course you are seeing this one is a low one. The storage device here, this hard drive or the hard disk, is 297 gig. As you can see, 297 gig. Out of this 297 gig, 109 is already in use. So that is to tell you the storage capacity of this one. Now in order to know the kind of window it is running, and to know if the window is window 10 or window 8, another thing I failed to tell us before coming to this place is to know the kind of bit, if it is a 32-bit operating system or a 64-bit operating system, you understand. So usually I recommend people to get a 64-bit operating system. Now you click on this open space here, you see property, click on this property. It opens or pops up another menu which is here. Of course you can see it's showing that this system is running on Windows 10. Now come to this place. As you're coming down here, it's a window edition, it's Windows 10 Pro, 2019 Microsoft Corporation, all right reserved. So these are the properties of this system. Now you talk of the processor. The processor, Intel processor here is called i3. Of course you can see it called i3. Then the processor here is 1.5 gigahertz, very low. This system cannot do graphics, it cannot do video editing, it cannot perform certain heavy tasks. It's just for online browsing and maybe typing and documentation purpose. We cannot use it for bigger tasks. Then the installed RAM here is 4 gig RAM, you understand. Is the system type is 64-bit operating system, you understand. Then these ones here are not much things to consider about. So this is the computer name, you understand. This is the computer name, and this is the name of the user of this system. These ones here, why I'm not elaborating much on this is that these ones here, they are not much to be considered. Now there are some other things also to consider while you're here. Let me just maximize this so we can see what we are talking. When you come to this device manager here, you begin to see this thing. Now tells you in this system there are installs program. Like when you click on device manager opens. It tells you if the system has Bluetooth. You see it here. If and every of the inbuilt device has what they call drivers. You can be able to know the drivers that are installed, the ones that are not installed here. So as it opens, it's taking time to open because of the processing speed and the RAM. Now this is what you can find out in this thing. It has an audio input. Of course, without this audio input you can't be hearing my voice. It's the audio input that I'm using, connecting it to my microphone to speak out. Then this is the battery, the computer itself, disk drive that you're seeing, which is that storage device that I showed you here, display adapter, which is what is making you to see the vision that is going on in this system, human interference, and everything that you're seeing here are parts of an integral parts of this system. Now if you want to know if any of them is connected, like this keyboard here, you click on it, is connected. If it is not connected, you'll be seeing um, how do I explain this here, that will be on this, showing you that this keyboard is not connected. um, a kind of brown icon, on this keyboard, that will be telling you that this keyboard is not connected. But because it's connected, it is not here. So let me see if I can see any of them that is not connected. So I'll give you typical example of what I'm saying here. Now the monitor, of course, this one should be connected because I'm already using the monitor. Okay, these ones are the wireless ports, they are all connected. And which other one, printer, everything here, they are almost connected. Almost all of them are almost connected, so I don't think I can use these ones for illustration, since everything here is drive. Everything is working in perfect condition, so I cannot use it as an illustration. Yeah, I cannot use it. I cannot use any of these ones to illustrate what I'm saying. So okay, now we'll go out from here. Remote setting. This will be a tutorial for another day. This has to do with cloud computing and rest of them, system protection and okay. So far so good. This is what we need to consider if we want to buy a computer system. Then you have seen the RAM, you have seen the processing speed here, you have seen the RAM here, 4.00 gig, you have seen the operating system, 64 gig, and so on and so forth. Then if a recap, this is the storage device, the hard disk, you can call it the hard disk, the hard drive. So these are the things that you need to consider when buying a system. So I think if this tutorial is helpful, keep subscribing to our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our Instagram. We're bringing you subsequent videos on ICT and other related subjects or courses, as you may call them. Thank you very much for staying with us. Don't forget, this is Victor Lawson of Soft Techniques, a subsidiary of Arendas Integral Technologies Limited. Thank you. See you next time.